Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central. CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we got another signing here over for the Ottawa Redblacks as Demerio Houston will sign there. And this is a bit of an interesting one because BC actually, in the tampering window, had extended a bit of a handshake deal to Demerio Houston. However, that hand was pulled away as they retracted their offer, and that he went over and signed with the Ottawa Redblacks. So this is a bit of an interesting one. Now, do we know the length of this deal, Rick?
No, we do not.
So we don't know if it's 1 or 2 years, whatever it is, but yeah, because like even if we're just taking a look here at the 3Down article, Houston reportedly agreed to terms with BC Lions, but the team had a change of heart. Contracts agreed to during the free agency communication window are not legally binding until they're filed with the league. And teams or players can alter their decision for any reason. So this is why this video is coming out when it is, and we didn't jump the gun on these for this reason.
You know what, Debo? I'm actually quite curious if the whole Demerio Houston to BC did not happen because BC realized maybe that they're up, but they didn't realize how close to the cap that they were. Because if people that don't know, if you go over the cap up to $100,000, you have to pay a dollar fine. I'm not sure if it's double the amount.
Yes, it's a dollar. The CFL operates under a similar system as the MLB actually, where it is a luxury tax. Where once you exceed the cap, essentially for every dollar that you're spending, you have to spend, I think, an extra dollar, and that goes back to the league. Is that correct?
Something like that. But if you go over the 100,000, that's where it becomes juicy because BC last year lost their first and second round draft picks because not like as in last year, as in 2025. Like last year, as in 2024 dollar values for the 2025 draft.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was them when they had. You're talking the 2024 season where they have Vernon Adams and Nathan Rourke, all making a filthy amount of money.
So then what happens is those picks then become property of the worst team in the league. So if you're Ottawa right now, you bet you're hoping that BC goes over. Oh no, because that would be for next year. We don't know what teams' final numbers are yet until the league announces it. I mean, there's 3 teams last year that were over the cap. Hamilton was one of them. We weren't over by that much. I think it was like 60,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
BC was over it by a lot, and I think Toronto or something like that. I'd have to go back and look at the article. But besides the point, he did have 5 games, 17 defensive tackles.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. That's still a lot of tackles in 5 games, so let's be realistic.
Yeah, no, he had done very well in his very short stint with Winnipeg last year. If you kind of look at his numbers over the course of his career, 2021 through 2023, he plays with Winnipeg. With that last year, 15 games played, 50 defensive tackles, 7 interceptions, and with one of them being a pick six for a touchdown. Did extremely well, was kind of one of, if not Winnipeg's defensive player of that year, with kind of Terrell Ford shining the next year. He goes over to Calgary, plays 15 games there, and then interestingly enough, he was released by the Stampeders in February 2025, and this is just me reading. I'm reading directly from 3Down Nation here. After 3Down reported that he had been charged with misdemeanor of domestic violence in North Carolina following an argument with his wife in November, Houston publicly denied the allegations, and the charges were later dismissed in court with the intention of being expunged from his record. So essentially all the charges against him had just been dropped as they figured it wasn't going anywhere, wherever it was. So he had joined the Bombers after that, to which he, again, that was when he had played his 5 games to 70 defensive tackles and whatnot. So extremely good defensive player. Had done very, very well. 29 years old. He was born in Shelby, North Carolina. Went to school at Southern. If you look at kind of his college career, he had 4 seasons in which he had played in Southern in the FCS. Where in his last year he had 9 starts out of the 10 games he played. He had 2 interceptions for 66 yards. He had 48 defensive tackles, and overall had a generally good time, which led him towards the CFL. Signed with Winnipeg in 2020. However, with the CFL season not happening then, meant that he didn't really kind of kick in until 2021. So, but yeah, so it's he signs over in Ottawa, so Ottawa gets another boost to their secondary, a guy with a very good pedigree to him. But that's what I got, because that's kind of my knowledge of him from him in Winnipeg, and what I had seen in him. Is there anything that you had though, Rick?
Not really.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, share it around, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you guys haven't, make sure you guys join our Discord. Link in the description below to our Discord, where we discuss all things CFL, NHL, all sorts of sports stuff. So make sure you guys go there and check it out. And we'll see you guys next time.